Hey guys, it's Greg again. Lots of things have changed since last night. There's weakness in the markets, and it's starting to show now. Okay, so I wanted to go over a few things, man. There's some guys that have been messaging me, and some guys been asking me some questions. Like Greg, people are so bearish, and that they're saying this is like the end, this is the end, and all this other stuff. Everything goes in cycles. I made a video on cycles. I might link down to it. And I wanted to show you something up here on the screen that I have on the screen. You see that? That is Netflix. Okay, that's Netflix. And Netflix is one of these companies that's on the Nasdaq, the Qs, which Qs is there's some companies in the Qs that are getting slaughtered right now, and more than likely they're like Netflix, they're at the end of their cycle. And guess what, guys? Netflix, you don't dip by Netflix either, because you see this cycle here. That's the end of a cycle that started more or less in May of 2002. And it looks like Netflix ended its whole cycle, whether you want to call this a super cycle. I think this would just be a cycle. This is cycle one. It's not a super cycle. So this is just a cycle. If Netflix is going to recover from this, if the company stays around and keeps going, it'll recover from this and then keep going up. Where this will end up, don't know. But you see this, you see at the top here, and it has to correct this whole cycle. So you could see Netflix at what is it, 214. I wouldn't be surprised if Netflix is less than, gets near $50. Maybe that it's gonna go down at least, one of those waves like that, at least one of those waves like that. And how much, hold on, let me check that again. This fourth wave was pretty deep. That went down 82%. So let's see. Probably, I wouldn't be surprised to see Netflix 50%, cut 50% in half of where it is now. So say it's at $215 to go down to 100. Now, the other reason I wanted to show you this cycle is if you come down here in RSI on Netflix, you can plainly see with the RSI where the peaks are in making how you can come up with these waves. And you have to use the RSI, and you usually have to use a little bit other tools to come up with how this fits correctly. Okay. But you can see here, like this peak of this third wave on this RSI, it's not exactly with that, but the third of the third wave is right there. And that was actually a fifth wave. That's why the momentum slowed, just to let you guys know about Elliott waves. Now, this is what I want to say about Elliott waves, even though some people don't like them. This is where Elliott waves on the whole big picture helps tremendously. It helps tremendously. It gives you an idea where assets are in their cycle, when to sell them, especially for long term. I think Elliott waves is one of the best long-term tools you can have in your toolkit. And Netflix is the perfect example, because you see where I have that green circle? Okay, that right there, here's your peak of your third wave, and it did a correction in there. But that area, it would tell you on the RSI, okay, here's the highest peak, and it came up. Here's a wave one, and it probably came up for some sort of a wave one and making another wave there. And then this is coming up. This area was your selling area of this asset. Whether you got in here, down here, or wherever you got in on this coin, or not coin, excuse me, this asset's Netflix stock. That's your selling area. And some, I hear people talking about it. Well, oh, look at Netflix. It's such a great deal. Yeah, if you want to compare it to the $600 and $700 price, but I'm letting you know it can go lower. It can go lower because it's got to correct this whole cycle. So I wouldn't be surprised to see Netflix go down to $100. Now here is the trick. Here's the trick with Netflix. Guess what it's going to do? Netflix is going to go down like right here. And you know what it's going to do? It's going to bounce. It's going to bounce up here. Just like I think Facebook is one of them. Facebook went down like this and it bounced. And guess what? Where's it? Go look at Facebook now. It's back down there, even lower. So yeah, Netflix will go lower. But I just want to say right here with this cycle, Netflix has got to do this whole cycle. Now, what does this have to do with crypto? Crypto is the same way. It's an asset. And this is human behavior reflected right on the chart. Okay. The momentum was slowing down in here. That was your time to sell. And that's what you need to do with all the other crypto assets. You have to have some sort of plan in mind when if Bitcoin, say Bitcoin's in it's completing wave 4, and then it's going to start going into wave 5, right? You got to have a plan on that wave when you're going to be exiting out out of Bitcoin or whatever asset you're going to be exiting out in crypto. Because I'll tell you guys something. When Bitcoin goes up on this 5th wave, okay, just like Netflix has right there, it completed a 4th and it went up on a 5th wave, and it was an extended 5th wave. It rock and rolled. Netflix rock and rolled from October 2012 all the way up for almost 10 years, right? Bitcoin's not going to go for 10 years. This is going to be months, probably not even a year. And I'm telling you right now, you do not want to be in that asset once it completes that 5th wave and it starts making a turnaround, because it's going to be a whole cycle, a whole cycle that Bitcoin is going to correct, and it's going to get ugly. It's going to get ugly if the Elliott waves are correct. And so far, the Elliott waves are correct. There has been nothing that hasn't proven otherwise on the where Bitcoin is in the cycle. So I wanted to go over that with you guys. Another example. Everybody like was talking about, oh, it's going to bear markets. No, what's this have to do with bad news? Netflix and the other assets. If I go look at the other assets that dump, I could go look at Facebook and go, okay, why is Facebook doing what it's doing? It's probably the same thing as Netflix. It's probably at the end of its cycle. I can go look at it and see what it is. Let me see, where's my list? Another example I wanted to give you guys was the let me see, there's 10-year treasury, Qs. What was the other S&P somewhere in here? Yeah, I can't find it right now. I have it in my list here somewhere. And oh, here it is. The SPX. You know, here's the on the monthly, here's the S&P 500. And I was doing an explanation. SP and 500 is, you know, the overall grand thing of the S&P 500 is that, you know, this is a super cycle. So it's coming up on the end of its super cycle. And if the SP 500 is ending here, like some people say that it is, then yeah, there's a problem. I don't think so. This is wave 1, and here's 2, 3, and 4, and it's going up for 5. I think there's going to be a correction in here, and there's probably a time for like maybe 2 more years or maybe 3 more years, and that's it. That's why I have those lines there. Here's the first line. Is that the end? Don't know. We don't know yet. But if that's not the end, then it's probably in this area, 2024 there, and then there's 26, and then there's 28. Okay, so it's going to depend on how this works out, whether this is done here or it's going to keep on going. So I'm going to let you know that. That's why I think, in my opinion, having somebody or knowing Elliott waves, having that in your toolkit can give you an idea to plan a little bit more, in my opinion, appropriately for the long term for any of these assets. So that's why the coins are going down. And, you know, people watch a lot of the news and the media, And there's nothing wrong with that, but you have to take everything with a grain of salt. I mean, everybody's bearish because the market is weak. Bitcoin's going down to 20,000. I've heard 9,000, 15,000, 18,000, blah, 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 and they're just saying it, and when you have somebody that is maybe a quote, quote expert or whatever you want to call them, and they say these things and then they put it in everybody else's mind and then they think, that it's going to do that. And, the evidence is showing that Bitcoin is not going to be doing that. It doesn't have any evidence to do that right now. So, and it's got a lot more proving to do, not only to the upside, but to the downside also too, before we figure out what exactly is going on with Bitcoin. So short term, I am bearish on Bitcoin. But long term, after probably about May, June, or July, or whenever this correction is going to end, it could go until July, August, September. I don't know. I'm going to be bullish, and then it's coming up on a correction. I'll be bearish again, and that'll be the time. Once that next leg up goes up, you want to be long primarily, going with the trend, and it's going to turn around, and you're definitely going to want to be into shorting the market in that time. That's going to even be better than it is over here through this. So anyhow, I want to go over Bitcoin real quick because, there's weakness in the market now, obviously, and you can see it not primarily in Bitcoin, but in the alt. So you can see right there is kind of like what I was saying about Bitcoin and these WXY waves. And there's a lot of talk, everybody keeps going. I mean, I have seen guys doing Elliott waves still calling this thing 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. They're still doing that. And these guys have been doing it for 20 years. And obviously they're not investigating the waves, or there's some other agenda behind it. So anyhow, I want to go through this extension on this Y wave that it did, and then check that W wave and check this Y wave. So yeah, like guys, I told you, this is kind of what I've been seeing with Bitcoin based on the past history. It's been doing a little bit. Is this W coming up where you put the X here, wherever you want to put that, somewhere in this area, and then coming down. That's kind of what I've been seeing with these WXY waves. Either that, and it can go reverse where the W is about that length and the Y is the length, but this is kind of what I've been seeing. It's been doing about 50% to 62% of this leg. And it's also been that in reverse where this leg, 100% of this leg, and this leg over here is about 50 to 62%. So that's kind of what I've been seeing. And then you see it landed right there, 50% of that leg. So that gives me more evidence that this was a WXY. And now this sequence is complete, where now it's probably a W. Okay, so that's a 3-wave move on a W, and then this is coming up for an X. Okay, and I don't suspect that this bounce will be much. I mean, okay, I have no idea. I made previous videos. These X waves are unpredictable. You cannot guess where they're going to go. It could be right here, 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 here. I doubt it's going to go to 50%, but it could go up there. Just don't know. They're unpredictable. Anybody who's giving you a guess on where this is going to go, they're just either trying to, lead you down the wrong path, or pretending that they're smarter than they really are. I don't know what they're doing, but there's no way. There's just no way. So let's go ahead and take a look at the rest. ETH is the same way. Go down, check out ETH. It's the same thing. It's doing kind of the same pattern, whether I think would be W, and then ETH did an X like that, and it's down for a Y. I could probably check this, and it'll probably have basically right around the same fib levels. Where would this WX? Okay, let's go right there. Yeah, just a little bit past it, it looks like. Yeah, 618. So I'd say the same thing with ETH, whether this is kind of like that, and then WX and up for a Y on ETH. And so ETH will be doing this whole 3-wave move, will be a W, go up for an X and back down for a Y. Something like that. Okay. So there's definitely more downside for these for these, both those coins. And let's see. Okay, XMR, I'm glad that I stayed in this coin. I was actually thinking about exiting, and it's completed its sequence, it looks like. So with XMR, you guys, this coin is definitely showing weakness. So you can see that this coin, it didn't do a bounce. So I'll show you. It didn't do a bounce. And so 1, 2, 3, 4, this 5. And then you see how big this wave is right here. This is really, really bearish. You see this 1 and how big this 2 was, and then 1, 2, 3, 4, 4, 5. So then this would be your 3 there, and that didn't go up much. That's what I was afraid of. That's kind of like, that's why I stayed in the market. So there should be maybe a bounce on this coin. And, you know, like I said, guys, the bounce is going to be, these bounces now are probably not going to be that big. So, you know, I would say on a coin like this, if you want to get into it, you know, it's just a guess right now, guys, but I would say 245. If you see 250, you might want to jump in there and then ride the rest of that down, because XMR, I still suspect it's going to be down there in 130. So you can make some pretty decent gains on the short with this coin. You know, I made another video on that and explaining why I saw that. So here's a RUNE. RUNE's doing a nice bounce. It's looking like RUNE will be in a 4th wave. So it's doing a nice 4th wave bounce. And, you know, that might be a good entry if you want to get on a short on RUNE right there. I'll be taking a look at that depending on how good that bounces. You know, if you see it bounce up to, say, 850, I would say that would probably be a really, really good place to get in on RUNE. Okay, here we go, Apecoin. You know, I was looking at this a little bit earlier, guys, on Apecoin. It is bullish, and this is just a bunch of buyers buying the coin. You know, here I was in here yesterday. I thought it was going to come down. I shorted this and I got out of it, and I made a little bit of money, but I'm just so glad I got out of it. Whether I made money or didn't make money, I'm glad I'm not in this coin. But this is another type of impulsive move. It came down, corrected that cycle, and you can see here's another one. So this is a bullish coin. This is a bullish coin. Apecoin is going to be doing a moonshot. You know, all I can say is a moonshot is coming up sometime in the future for this coin. If you're in it, hey, I can't even give you I would like to see it come back down lower, but I think it's one of these coins that, you know, hey, you might just miss it. It's going to take off. So I don't know if I'm going to do anything with it. If I do, it'd just be a little bit of money. I would like to be on this coin on the long, but it's not coming down to my areas. Went over Gala last night. It's getting down into the box. What were some other coins? I'll go over some other coins I saw. Definite, you know, here we go. HarmonyOne. So HarmonyOne's a weak one. You can see which coins now are starting to show their weakness. Near Protocol, still strong. Phantom on a bounce. Phantom's on a bounce. What were some other coins? I was looking at some other. Oh yeah, here we go. Alluvium, guys. This is a coin that I like. Okay, in the game space. You know, let me see. 1, 2. Here's 3. Okay, yeah. So there's the A. Here's an A wave, guys, and then it's going to bounce on a B, very minimally. And there's a problem. If this coin breaks these support areas here, it's going down. You know, it's looking at 465, 450, 458. So be careful buying the dip on Alluvium. Sandbox is still in that area. Let's see, KDA. Yeah, KDA is going to wander down. It's looking like maybe KDA. Let's see here. Here's a good example. You see the bullish divergence Okay. Here's a good example on KDA. This is a weak coin, guys. I'll show you. Like, some people would go, okay, here you go. You know, this is a great example. There's your bullish divergence, right? Okay. It popped up a little bit, but you can see this is taking it all out. So it could just continue to fall. That's what's happened with a lot of other assets. They get really bearish. You know, you see that bullish divergence and people think, oh, it's going to have a nice bounce. Like, I mean, I think that too. But then you have to be aware of, keep that in the back of your mind, that once it's taken out, you know, you have basically a new third wave. The third wave, once it takes it out, the third wave will move there, and then it's just it keeps taking it out. The third wave, it's extending on the downside. It does it to the upside too. So Sol Phantasma, it's looking like it actually is going to probably go to my area. It's just wandering down there, and then AVAX is starting to show some weakness. So yeah, I just want to go over that, guys, and let you know some of the coins that are there are starting to show some weakness. I guess there was weakness in the other markets this morning, the Chinese market. I guess the futures were weak before the markets open and stuff like that. So, and there's other weakness in the market right now, SPY and stuff like that. But let's go over the dollar. Let's see what's going on. This dollar keeps chugging up. Now, here's part of my deal too with the dollar, is that once the dollar, see, here we go. See the dollar? You know, if the dollar takes this out on the RSI, it's just going to continue to go up. It's just going to continue to go up, guys. You know, so if this keeps going up, the Qs, the S&P weak, the crypto definitely weak. So this has to go up and then turn around and start going back down. When that will happen, who knows? It might not even be this year, guys. It might not even be this year if it keeps going up like that. The VIX, you know, there's another reason. You got to keep track of the VIX, why the market is weak. I mean, look at that. It just did a moonshot. So, all right, guys. Well, that's the pretty much all of it. I just want to let you know what my thoughts were on some of the market. You just have to let it correct. You know, and right now is the time to be shorting assets and not going long on assets. And do not buy any of these dips, because on any bounces where people are like, yay, it's great, it's going up now, it's going to bounce. Just like I showed on Netflix, it's going to bounce and it's going to go back down. All right, guys. Thanks for watching. Peace.